Hi, this is Ed from Wise Up. This time we're going to be looking at credit ratings, credit scores, different names for pretty much the same thing. A number which will give people that are looking at it a fairly clear indication of your credit worthiness. When you get your credit rating aged 18, it will be 0. So it's in your interest to get that as high as possible, as fast as possible. So today we're going to be going through to show you exactly how you can do that, why it's important, and what sort of things a good credit rating can get you that a bad credit rating won't. So we're going to start off with a little activity. You can either use your phone to find the definition of these terms, or you can have a chat amongst each other. I'll give you a couple of minutes to do that. So put these this recording on pause now. Have a little go through this, and then when you're ready, you can start it up again. Welcome back. So your credit score is just a 3-digit number between 0 and 999, which reflects just how good you are at repaying debt. Now, as I said, when you are 18 and you get your credit score for the very first time, that's going to be 0. So you need to get a nice high number as early as you possibly can to make sure that you can show everybody else just how good you are at repaying money. Your credit report is some writing about how good you are. So it goes hand in hand with your credit score. So the higher your credit score, the better the sort of information that people will have about your ability to repay debt. So it will back up the credit score that's there. The credit rating, which is the word that we prefer to use, but it's exactly the same thing as the credit score, is your 3-digit number. And finally, your credit file is your number and your credit report all together. And that's the thing that's going to be held by the ratings agencies that other lenders will have the ability to actually look at and find out a bit more about you. So what are we going to cover? We're going to look at what a credit score is and why it's important, a good credit score versus a bad credit score, how to build it, and more importantly even is how to keep a good credit score in place, because there's going to be lots of factors that will affect that credit score going forward throughout your lifetime. So first of all, what is a credit score or a credit rating? So it is a number between 0 and 999, with the higher the number the better, and it does start at 0, aged 18. So having a good credit score affects your ability to buy, rent and borrow. So the better your credit score, your credit rating, you're going to be able to get access to cheaper money, you're going to be able to buy things easier, and you are going to be able to rent and borrow things as well. If you have a bad rating or a bad score, you will still be able to buy, rent and borrow stuff, but you will pay a lot more in interest and it will be more difficult. There will be fewer things that you can actually get. There are 3 main ratings agencies that we use in the UK. That is Experian, Equifax and Call Credit. By far and away the biggest of those 3 is Experian, and that's probably the one that you've all heard about. Now you can access your credit score, your credit rating, in many different ways, but it will always be accessing information that those 3 agencies hold on you. Your good credit score shows that you are a reliable person when it comes to using and repaying debt. Now each company uses its own method to calculate the score, but overall the same type of things are taken into account. So the type of things would be your payment history, so what sort of record you have in repaying debt, how much outstanding debt you've got, so the more debt that you've got, the more pressure that puts on your credit score, whether you are on an electoral register or not, and also your credit history, so how much credit you've had in the past, how long that was for, and also the different types of credit you've had. So who will know about it? Well, basically anybody that might potentially lend you money or give you money. So that could be banks. If you're going to a bank for a new account, they will certainly be looking at your credit worthiness. Potential employers will also have access to your credit score. New credit card providers or lenders will also have access to your credit score, and so will utility companies and phone companies as well, because using gas or electricity before you pay it still means that you're using credit, even though it's not in the form of cash. You're just using a service before you're paying for it. So you will still need your credit score to back that up. So when these companies look into your credit file, what will they see? So they will know within your file, they will see your credit score and your credit report. They will also find out about your payment history, and unfortunately they will also know about any payday loans that you've had. Now, payday loans are the very short-term loans that really were designed to help people get from maybe the third week into the month to the end of the month when they're getting paid. So a short amount of money for a short period of time. Unfortunately, these things carry a huge APR, a huge annual percentage rate, very expensive money to take, even though it's only for a short period of time. But most importantly, it's a really, really horrible type of credit to have, because it does look as though you're fairly desperate for money if you have to pay these really, really high rates of interest. So the payday loans will sit on your credit file for a period of time, and they will not look very good whilst they're sitting on there. So what won't these companies see? Well, they won't know your race or religion. They won't know what your income or your savings history is. They won't know about any parking or driving fines that you may have, or any medical criminal history that you may have as well. They won't know any other personal information, and you may remember from our session we did on student loans, they are not allowed to look at your student debt either. So your student debt does not make up part of your credit report. So having a good rating means that you're going to have access to better, cheaper loans and credit cards as well. Some of these 0% deals that you may have seen advertised on credit cards will suddenly become available to you if you have a good rating. You'll be able to use the buy now, pay later services, so you'll be able to buy things on sort of 6 months interest-free credit. Maybe you're looking to buy a new sofa, or you could be looking for a new laptop, and there's some of these deals available whereby you can take the laptop today and pay it back over a period of time. Those are only available when you have a good rating, along with the 0% interest deals. Now, whenever you buy things, you have the potential option to get things through credit, and if you do decide to take that option up, then you're going to have cheaper rates if you have a good credit rating. You'll be able to move around different utilities, so electricity companies, gas companies, with ease, provided you have a good rating. You just need to let the companies know that you're going to be switching, and they will do everything else for you. So how do we go about getting a good rating? So remember, aged 18, you don't have a rating at all. It's in your interest to try and get that built up as much as you can for the time you leave university. If you're going straight into the workplace, you'll have more potential to increase your credit rating quicker. But there are a few things that you need in place before we start. First thing, if you've not yet opened up your own bank account, I would urge you to do that as soon as possible. Opening your bank account is the first step towards getting a good credit rating. You need to make sure that you are on the electoral register. That's a list of everybody in the country and where they live. Your folks should have received something a few months before your 18th birthday, asking them if anybody in the household would be turning 18 over the next few months, provided they returned that information either by internet or indeed through the normal mail. Then you should be on the electoral register. If you're not, you can always get that checked out at the local council. So providing you're on there, that's a good thing. And then also I would urge you, and this is a different one in there as well, if you have your own mobile phone bill, then always pay for that out of your own account. If you're lucky enough to have somebody else pay your mobile phone bill for you, ask if you can change it slightly so that they pay the money into your account and then you pay your bill from your account to the mobile phone company using a direct debit. That means you're never going to be late for a payment or miss it, but you'll get all the benefit of paying for your debt from your account, and that will help you to build up your credit score. The simple, most effective way of building your credit score quickly is to use a credit card effectively and responsibly. You do not need a big credit limit to be able to do this. If you have a £500 credit card, build it up to not more than 75% of debt. Pay that debt back at much more than the minimum payment every month using a standing order. So perhaps £50 a month. Borrow £350, pay back £50 a month, not the entire amount. Because if you pay back the entire amount, you're not proving that you can handle debt responsibly. But by paying back £50 a month, you're showing that you're a really responsible person the way you are repaying that debt. As soon as the balance gets down to almost zero, build it back up to £350 again and continue to repay £50 a month. Do that for a year or so and you will have had the most brilliant effect on your credit score. Please don't take out more loans than you need. So don't be frivolous with the loans you take, because all of the loans that you take will put more downward pressure on your credit score. Always, where possible, have a utility bill in your name. Certainly when you go into a flat, you need to be paying your own bills with your own name on it. That's going to help as well. And then check your own credit score or credit rating regularly. You can do that through your banking app. You can also go directly onto Experian, Cool Credit or Equifax as well to see what the numbers are. Now, the numbers will not be identical for each of the different credit companies. They will all use a different method to create that score. So don't be surprised if one person says it's 800 and the next one says 650. They do not, you can't compare one with the other because they are compiled by different agencies. So how can you, once you've built your credit score up, how can you make sure that you keep it there? Certain things you have to make sure that you do. Never ever break a credit limit. Keep within it every month. Make all your minimum payments on time. Better still, pay more than your minimum payment on time using either direct debits or standing orders, and make that payment a couple of days before the money is due to be paid. Use the credit card wisely, as I've explained just a minute ago, and also check your credit card file. There will be mistakes. There always are mistakes. You can challenge any mistakes that's on your credit file, and then those will be corrected accordingly. Any irregularities on there, appeal against them, because it could be someone has been or had some sort of access to your credit file, and it might mean that there's something on there that shouldn't be. So you can appeal against that. So those are the things you should do. What are the things you shouldn't do? Don't put in more than 3 applications close together. That's within a month or so of each other, because it will look as though you are desperate to try and get extra credit. That never looks good. Never break that pre-arranged limit, and it doesn't matter if that's a credit card limit or an overdraft or any other type of credit limit you get. Don't break it. Don't leave your credit card near its limit. It looks as though that is fairly desperate to try and keep that debt for as long as possible. Never be late on any payments. Use your standing orders and direct debits, as I've already said. And don't take out unnecessary personal loans. And please do not go down the route of the payday loan. That will stay on your file for a long period of time. So a little activity now that we could do if you have time. You can put this on pause once I've told you what to do, and then we'll finish off the session just after you've finished your activity. So your activity is, what can you do to give your credit file a good start? Now, we've been through all of those things fairly recently. Just need you to write down what you need to do to be able to get your credit file off to a good start. Pause the video now and finish the activity. Okay, so what you can do is initially use Credit Builder credit cards, using very small amounts and paying back that amount more than the minimum payment every month. Don't take out any unnecessary loans. Keep on top of all your payments. Never be late. Never break an existing credit limit, have a utility bill in your name as well. All of those things are going to be a huge help. And don't forget, make sure that you pay for your mobile phone out of your bank account. Even if somebody else is actually paying the money, ask them to pay that to you first so that you can pay your bill from your account. All those things should really help. Try and aim to get up to sort of 400 for your rating in the first year if you start at 0. And by the time you leave uni, if you can get up to somewhere around 600, you'll be doing very, very well. And that's using the Experian score, which goes all the way up to 999. Good luck with your credit score. It will be with you for life. So make sure you protect it well, and it will put you in very good stead going forward.